everyone. I am extremely excited this afternoon to be able to be sitting here with Jess, who is an ND candidate and a sex coach. Jess, tell us about your professional roles.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. I'm Jess. So, I recently graduated from the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine and in the process of writing my official licensing exams to get the title of a naturopathic doctor. So, that is my current process. Right now, I'm focusing a lot of my time and research on sex coaching and pleasure work, specifically in an inclusive lens, because I think there is a huge gap in our current sexual health realm in terms of making sure that we are including the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. So this is something that's really close to my heart, and I'm so excited to be here.
Excellent. Welcome. How does the work that you do, both as a sex coach, but in anticipation really for the work that you're planning to do as an ND, help those in the 2S LGBTQIA plus community sort of get themselves ready to start or grow their families?
Yeah. So I'll just briefly touch on the sex part of it, but I think the naturopathic medicine is definitely a really key piece here. From a sex perspective, working in the field so far, also doing my clinical year just this past year, I have seen how people going through fertility issues or fertility challenges or going through the fertility journey in any way, shape, or form, there is that kind of intimacy factor that does play a role and it does get impacted throughout that journey. So that's something that can definitely be worked on with me. The other part of it is the naturopathic medicine side, which I actually did do a fertility focus shift during my clinical year. And that was really amazing to see the power and incredible results that can be received through naturopathic medicine. So naturopathic medicine, for anybody who doesn't know, it's basically a realm of medicine that includes kind of a full body, whole body approach. It incorporates traditional Chinese medicine, botanical supplements, it incorporates lifestyle medicine, all of these different factors that really impact our overall health. When it comes to fertility, that's definitely a big area that naturopathic medicine can help with. So, people would come into see me in clinic and we would do acupuncture points before they would do their IVF. There's different protocols that have a lot of research that's supported to see how it can impact implantation, impact quality of the egg, all of that type of thing. There's also supplements that are involved. So really taking a full body, full holistic approach is what we love to do with naturopathic medicine. And so really looking at both sides of the coin. So whether the partner is sperm producing or not sperm producing, looking at the quality of the sperm, looking at the quality of the egg, looking at different things that we can do to ensure that that is kind of all around seen. There's also some of my colleagues in clinic that actually saw the surrogates and we're able to treat them as well. So there's so many different ways that naturopathic medicine can fit in on your fertility journey. Unfortunately, it is an underutilized medicine because we're still learning a lot about it, but there's such incredible work that we can do.
And to be fair, many people don't realize that naturopathic medicine, for many people, if you have a health insurance plan through your work, is often covered, at least in part. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. And the amazing thing about it is when you go to someone who is a nutritionist, they're not qualified to do things like acupuncture. If you go to someone who's an acupuncturist, there's certain things that they won't be able to do. And I think there's benefits to all of those different realms. The amazing thing with naturopathic medicine is we can do all of those things in that one visit. So when you're paying through your insurance, for example, we're able to do acupuncture if necessary. We're able to talk about your lifestyle, your diet, exercise, sleep, all of those things that might be impacting it, and kind of take that full approach. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Are there things that you are looking for in the work that you do, also being a member of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, that your heterosexual peers working in a similar capacity may just not be looking for or not know to look for?
Yeah, I think that's like such a key point. I think in general, representation is a really big factor when it comes to successful health outcomes. Um, with my own experiences, just working with other medical providers and just feeling othered, which we'll talk about later. But that is something that I feel like really does impact people's experiences in their health journey. And when it comes to fertility, there's already potentially a lot of stress There's a lot of emotions that are around it. There's a lot of that level of having to feel safe and heard in your medical experience. And I think having that, my own lived experiences in the community can definitely help make sure that my patients and clients feel heard, feel safe, and are able to achieve the goals that they're hoping to achieve. And I think that's like the one thing that really separates going to someone who doesn't necessarily understand that to the full capacity.
Sure.
And whether that's a counselor or whether that's your doula, or it kind of goes full force. There's a level of representation that I think really can impact the success, and also, just more importantly, impact your experience with
Sure.
that provider.
Absolutely. Are there any pearls of wisdom that your clients would say they're especially lucky to learn from you through the schooling you've done, through the work that you do over the past several years? You've achieved a lot, you've gleaned a lot. What would they say is best to learn from you?
Yeah, I think with this piece, being in the space that I am in with holistic medicine, being in naturopathic medicine, and taking these last 4 years to really consolidate the area of medicine I want to focus in, I've really seen that there is gaps in incorporating holistic naturopathic medicine and creating an inclusive space. So,
Mhm.
for example, when we talk about like irregular menstrual cycles, a lot of people term it as women's health. But I feel like there is this massive gap in being able to approach people who don't necessarily identify as women, but have vulvas and who menstruate. And so
Right.
there's this different level of inclusivity that I think I'm able to offer in a way that is not really, unfortunately, it's not really present a lot in the naturopathic space or in the holistic medicine space. So really tying in my knowledge, my passion for this area of medicine, but then also my passion to really create a safe space for my patients who are from the 2S LGBTQIA plus community is just really close to my heart. And I think there's a level of passion that my clients and patients have seen, and I'm really happy to be able to create that safe space for them.
Amazing. Recognizing you don't yet have children of your own, you can't answer it from a perspective of someone who has, but have there been outside of pregnancy then any times in your life where you've been made to feel like the other for being part of this community?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've experienced it with counselors for sure as I was going through my own coming out journey and really trying to figure out who I was and figure out my sexuality. There was definitely that feeling of othered, and it's can be upfront. It can be words that have been said. It could also just be looks. It could be, body language that I've experienced both in a counseling setting and also with my medical provider. So knowing that and being, and to be honest, that's a really big reason that I've walked into this inclusive space head first and really trying to make it in a way where I'm receptive to feedback and constantly trying to learn things and make sure that I'm able to provide that because I've experienced it myself. And I think with health, it's an
Mhm.
area that there shouldn't be any sort of discrimination. There shouldn't be any sort of feeling unsafe or unheard from your medical providers. And so, yeah, it's really a big passion for me to be able to provide that for people because of my own experiences. Hearing my partner has gone through things herself, there's all of these different things that I've heard,
Mhm.
I've experienced that I don't want my patients to ever have to experience. I want to create that space for them.
I love that.
Hmm.
Again, recognizing you don't yet have children, but should children arrive in your thought process at some point in the future, and recognizing there's obvious bias because you've agreed to be a part of this show, do you think that a show like this would be beneficial? And if so, what would you want to to learn from this show? Who would you want to hear from to help you with your journey?
Yeah, I think I definitely do want to have kids in the future. So this is an amazing space to be, to really be able to see all the different levels of support that you can have. It ranges all the way from medical to lawyers to all of these different things, just
Mhm.
all in one place. I think that's so helpful, and it relieves some of that tension and stress and anxiety that can be experienced by so many people going through this journey because we unfortunately, a lot of the resources out there, when you talk to your medical doctors, are very much knowledgeable when it comes to heterosexual couples who are going on to their fertility journey, but being able to have all the providers and resources in one space, I think that's incredible. I think you already have a lot of the people that I would want to see: doulas, lactation consultants, people with going through the IVF journey themselves, maybe some IVF people who are working in the IVF clinics, acupuncturists, naturopathic doctors. Also just tying into other ways to go through insemination. So like talking about at-home insemination and what that might look like in people's experiences. I think really tying in all those different ways of having a child or adopting a child or trying to create your family or increase your size of your family, I think is really, really helpful.
Excellent, thank you. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you feel would be really beneficial for the show attendees to learn from you?
Yeah, I think, we briefly touched on the like how naturopathic medicine can fit into this journey, but I think it's definitely something that I can touch on a little bit more just so that people can understand where they can kind of head in this journey with naturopathic medicine alongside them. So when it comes to fertility, if it is something where either you're having a surrogate or you're a sperm producing partner, or you have ovaries, then we would look at different ways to support that. So someone who menstruates, we'd be looking at regularity of your cycles. We'd be looking at things like if you're ovulating and looking at ways to check that through labs, and then supporting those different areas. Stress is going to be a really big part of everybody's journey through this. And so that's something that we can support as well. We'd be looking at lifestyle. I think that's really a big missing factor when it comes to fertility. Diet, lifestyle, stress, sleep, all of those things, exercise. There's tons of research to support how those different factors of your life can be in fact impacting fertility. And that goes for both sperm producing and ovum producing partners. And then when we look at surrogacy, like I said, that implantation process, all of those things still can be impactful for that participant as well. So I think just looking at it from a holistic lens, there's definitely so much we can do, and amazing things that we learn compared to conventional doctors is really being able to treat the whole person and creating an individualized approach for you. So what we might recommend, you might not enjoy, but we really make sure that that plan is tailored to you and are sticking with that comfortability that you have. So I think that's like a big piece that is missing in a lot of people's fertility journey, is having that individualized approach. Because when we go through IVF, there's very standard procedures. You have your hormones injected at this specific time, you go through this specific procedure, but there's so many underlying things that should be addressed, and we can definitely do that and work with you to achieve those goals.
Amazing. It is a fascinating industry for sure. What is the very best way for potential clients to reach you?
Yeah, so I have a couple of options, and I'm sure there'll be ways to link things. I'm assuming like where they can
I'll be putting it
get
on
the
the
link.
screen. Yes, so they'll be able
Perfect.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have my website, jessicanazareth.com. I also have my socials. So Jessica A. Nazareth on TikTok and on Instagram. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of work within the sex space and coaching around pleasure. So I do have some free resources there that you can sign up for, as well as my email list, just to provide some uncensored, because social media loves to censor me when I'm talking about inclusivity and talking about sex. So some uncensored information that can be sent directly to your inbox. So yeah.
Wow. Excellent. I love this. I could feel like I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
So much to learn. So much to learn. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to chat with me today and sharing your wisdom with all of our show attendees.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their time here.